Okay, in tonight's Euro 2020 qualifier, England have decisively beaten the Czech Republic 5-0. There are some areas where England can work on. I think when they have a lot of the ball, they need to move the ball with a bit more pace. I think you could say that in both halves, especially the first half. And defensively, I have a few concerns that they are lacking that I mean, they've only got really one very dominant centre back, and that's Harry Maguire at the moment in this squad. There are a lot of England centre backs who are playing very, very well in the Premier League, and they will all get their looking, I am sure, by Gareth Southgate before Euro 2020. But I think while Michael Keane played very, very well, and you've got Tarkowski in the squad and Lewis Dunk around the squad, I think Harry Maguire, they need that senior centre back, and I think that's where they're missing Gary Cahill a little bit. Because there was a period at the beginning of the second half where England were a bit wobbly, and if the Czechs were the Czech Republic of 20 years ago, it's a different story. But this is a weaker Czech side. This is a solid but not outstanding Czech side, and I think this was a Czech side with not a lot of pace in it, which was part of their downfall this evening. But let's have a look at how the game unfolded. Eric Dyer goes off with looks like a slight knock to his hip. Hopefully it's not too serious. He did walk off under his own steam, which is important, but that's something that will concern Tottenham fans. Ross Barkley comes on, and Ross Barkley is crucial for the first goal for Raheem Sterling because he helps create it. So Ross Barkley, under a lot of pressure at Chelsea, under a lot of criticism, he actually played quite well this evening. He was given a good 70 minutes, and he played very, very well. Helps create Sterling's first goal alongside Kane, Henderson, Sancho. Sancho's cross is brilliant. Kane's pass to Sancho is brilliant. Henderson seeing the space to give to Kane is, there's a lot of involvement there from some players that are a bit more experienced, and then a younger player comes in. And last year in the World Cup, Sterling would probably miss that. Sterling has really come on in the last 9 months with Man City and has done very, very well this season. And there's a reason why he got a hat-trick this evening. Kane's penalty comes from, again, quick attack. That was on a counter-attack. That comes on a counter-attack because Sterling is fouled for the penalty. Two Czech defenders come together and scissor him like that. I think the referee was probably thinking, well, had they not done that, there would have still been a foul in there from one or the other defender. And Kane does what Kane does from the spot and puts it in. Half-time comes. England are now, the last 15 or 20 odd minutes of the half, have been dominating. This is where the wobble comes at the beginning of the second half. And this happened a lot in the World Cup 9 months ago. And had the Czechs been a better side, had this been 20 years ago, for example, Nedved, Pavorsky, they would have been able to, command and Jan Koller. That would have been a very, very different result, I have no doubt. And they didn't look comfortable for a period defending. There are one or two concerns defensively. I think they need a bit more commanding presence in the box. But, it's something that they can develop and get experience with. I think they need to look at that and learn from that. And it's called marking up in the box from corners and free kicks. Their marking was a bit sloppy, and they allowed the Czech players to get in front of them and get to the ball first, and they were a little bit flat-footed. And Harry Kane was at fault for some of the chances because he's been brought back to defend because he's quite tall, absolutely. For the free kick just after half-time, he lets the runner get in front of him. He stands still like a statue, and from a corner a couple of minutes later, again, simple position on the edge of the box, he's standing still and allows the ball to come across the box dangerously. Thankfully, the shots they had on target were not the strongest, and Pickford's able to save. But there was a period of about 10-15 minutes where England were wobbling until Sterling's second goal. Again, nothing to suggest there's going to be a goal, much like the first one, but it happens quickly. England get the ball down into the box in pace. Sterling swivels, turns, and smashes it past the keeper, and that is a very, very well taken goal in 61 minutes. Dele Alli goes off. He has had some fitness concerns, and Declan Rice comes on. We can debate Declan Rice in another video. Should he still be playing for Ireland? Should he play for England? He's chosen England. The reason why, he's only played 3 friendlies for Ireland. I get why the Irish are very, very angry and frustrated and bitter about it. I completely do. And FIFA needs to look at the selection rules because he has played 3 times for Ireland, admittedly in friendlies, so that's why he can change allegiance. I think that rule needs to be looked at and changed. I think that ruling is wrong. I think once you've been capped by your country in an international at senior level, that's the country you should play for. That's my view on it. He did play well. I know he's been brought up in England. He's from Kingston upon Thames, not too far from where I live. I mean, he's lived his entire life in England. I know he chose Ireland because of his granddad, all that kind of thing. But this is the situation we find ourselves in. We have to move on. He was solid, not outstanding in this game. He didn't have to be. He's just covering in front of the back four in the centre of midfield. That's his role. He did it very, very well after 62 minutes. That's his job. Sterling's hat-trick, again, quick pace. The flanks, like Sancho did quite well. Chilwell did quite well. There's a lot of pace on the wings. It's brilliant. Where Sterling gets the ball, that's not where you expect Sterling to score from, but he wallops it one. Slight deflection off the defender, wrong foot's the keeper. That's the hat-trick. Bang, 68 minutes. It's 4-0. It could have been more. There were a lot of chances around this period where the Czech goalkeeper's pulling off saves. Sterling gets his hat-trick. That's his last effort. He's done. He's done for the evening. He's shut down, ready for Montenegro, and Hudson-Odoi replaces him. And Hudson-Odoi is very crucial coming up. So 2 of the 3 subs are crucial in goals. Hudson-Odoi has a shot from a similar position to Sterling's hat-trick. And it's another great save from the keeper. Harry Kane's had a shot in there. But this time when Hudson-Odoi has a shot, the keeper, brilliant save. Callas, I don't know what he's doing. He's got his positioning slightly wrong. I don't know what he's doing with trying to clear it. Obviously, there is an England defender over his right-hand shoulder, or a player who's pressurising him. He's obviously aware of that, but he completely fluffs it and he side-foots it into his own net. And it's 5-0. So that, from 60 minutes till the end, England were all over the Czechs. The Czechs were in trouble, but there was that period at the beginning of the second half where England looked lost at sea defensively. And the first 20-odd minutes, they were too slow in possession, and that's another criticism. So while they kept a clean sheet, which is something they didn't do at the World Cup, they kept it to 0. Which is very positive. There are still areas they need to work on. And I think some of that is on set play marking. They looked decidedly wobbly at times. And when they do have the ball in periods of the game, they need to pass with pace and move quicker because it's too easy to defend. And if you allow that to continue for too long, it gets harder and harder to actually inject that pace when you need to. Because the opposition can play themselves into the game. The Czechs didn't show enough tonight. Vydra was bright when he came on. There was a couple of other Czech players who had a couple of shots, but for the most part, apart from this purple patch that the Czechs had at the beginning of the second half, they didn't show much at all. England can go into Montenegro full of confidence. I think Montenegro will be a much, much tougher game. It won't be a scoreline like this in Montenegro. It'll be a very close physical encounter. The atmosphere will be pretty it'll be electric. I've seen England play Montenegro before on the TV, and my cousin's been out there, and he said last time he went out there for an international, it was an electric atmosphere, really loud for such a small stadium. Those Montenegrins really make a lot of noise. It's going to be an intimidating atmosphere for some of these younger players. You may not be used to that kind of atmosphere. And it will be a tougher game. This is a good audition for some of these young players for when they go into Montenegro. You can play at this level. You are deserving of this level. Hudson-Odoi was crucial, as I say, for that 5th goal. Look for Hudson-Odoi to possibly start. Possibly look for Declan Rice to start. I think Ross Barkley, if Dyer's not fit, needs to start in that position because Henderson looked better in the centre of the 3 midfielders. It suited England better, having Henderson as the deeper of the 3 central midfielders. So there are some positives. There's a lot of positives, but there are 1 or 2 areas that England need to work on. But I think any top side will want to work on that, and work on things. And there's a reason why England are ranked 5th best team in the world. They dismantled a solid Czech side. This is not a skillful Czech side, but they were solid and organised, and then suddenly they ripped them to pieces. So much improved over. Even though the England side made the World Cup semi-finals last year, this side has learnt a lot. I think the UEFA Nations League has helped them with that development, and Sterling, I think this time last year, doesn't get those goals. I think in the World Cup, that first goal, he would have missed that. And I think he's come on a very long way in a short space of time and continues to do so. So I'm looking forward to Monday night's game. That's going to be interesting. It's going to be a much tougher test, I believe. But there we go. Thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe. Place your comments below, and I'll have some more videos for you soon.